Lisa Miller, and she's with the Tea Party, Washington, D.C.
Wow, really is a tough act to follow. Well, welcome to my hometown. Now, I've been living this kind of nightmare, if you will, seeing the inefficiencies, the fraud, the bait and switch, the ripping off, basically, of the American dream all my life. Welcome to my nightmare. What really comes to me, I know that there are going to be attorney generals here and there are congressmen here to talk about the legal aspects of the U.S. Supreme Court case. But my dad taught at Georgetown University Law School for decades, since World War II. And so when I'm sitting at the dinner table, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, what were we thinking about when we instituted Social Security? What gives our legislative body the thought that they have the right to tell us what products to buy and when to buy it above anything but the safety net? And why is the federal government even talking about the safety net when I read the U.S. Constitution, it mentions nothing about that? Now, I have no problem taking care of the poor, but it's clearly a state, local, charitable responsibility. And I hear people say, well, it's our church's duty. Well, no, actually, it's the body of the church is duty. So it's our individual responsibility to take care of those that can't take care of themselves. Above that, local and state taxation should be it, and it should be fully portable. Roosevelt thought, well, since we need it, we're going to make everybody do it, even though they can save for their own unemployment, they can save for their own disability, they can save for their own retirement. They made it compensatory for us to participate in these programs like we were children and we couldn't take care of ourselves. So the problem is stare decisis. That's a great word. But what it really means is the Supreme Court says, well, if it's settled doctrine, then we're not going to question it again. Well, that reminds me of a thief who stole a whole lot of money and said, wait a minute, I've got property rights. I should be able to keep this stolen goods. That's what the government is saying when they say, well, we can go ahead and tell you what to do, what to buy, when to buy it, anything above the safety net, and anything that causes us to borrow money to get it. Because if we're being charitable, we pay out of our own pocket, right? We don't ask our children to pay for that which we wish to be charitable towards, because that would be theft, wouldn't it? So the problem I see as just an individual, non-lawyer, is that we got off track back in 1937 when Social Security was passed. And we need to deeply think about what the purposes of all of these programs are and how they harm us because they are going beyond the enumerated powers of the Constitution. Amen. Yes, we have problems in society, but the Constitution gives us the framework of how to assist our fellow men. Amen. And nowhere at any time should we be forced to give money to anybody who is more than poor just because they smoke, like in these healthcare exchanges. Basically, they're saying those with pre-existing conditions can go into them, even though they can afford their own health care. So we're being asked to pay for something that somebody already can pay for. We need to take responsibility for our own lives. Now, I happen to be in insurance and financial services. So what is the solution? Well, maybe they can tell us what to do, meaning they say, well, you have to, if you're going to participate in the labor market, you have to save your own money for unemployment. Okay, so if you lose your job, you can take your own money and use it. But you don't ask anybody else to pay for it. Now, in countries or places that have instituted this type of program, those that are become unemployed have a lot more money. And why is that? Because government can't steal it. In counties in Texas where they decided to waive Social Security and put their money in their own accounts, those that make $26,000, instead of getting a $1,000 benefit when they retire, they get $1,800. And those at the top of the income spectrum, they, instead of making $2,000, make $4,000 or $5,000 a month. That is a huge difference. And why? Because the government can't steal our money. The bottom line is the government should never be engaged in the market. They should be regulating it and overseeing it, but not ever participating in it on a federal, state, or local level.